And what is good, everybody? I am your host, 2400Y2K, and welcome back to Bird Dogs. What's good, everybody? I'm using a new mic, so I don't know if it'll sound different. We'll see when I get to the um editing phase. Kinda, it doesn't really it until I have finished with like editing and doing all the um until I'm finished done with doing all that stuff. I tend not to it tends not to pick up the same, or like it tends not to sound the same when I'm editing. It sounds different than when I actually like get done with the full video. So but anyways, yeah, I'm trying to get one out today. um I realize consistency is key, and even if I don't really have anything to say right now, um I gotta give it a shot, because not doing it is not good either. I don't think that really helps or does anything, because even if I put out one that's like bad, or I don't necessarily like, or y'all don't necessarily like, um you just keep moving, right? Like, you don't there's no point in sitting there and not uploading, and then you know what I mean, that's lack of content, because even if it's not great, there's room to improve, and I can watch it back and see how I can improve on it. I'm trying not to breathe in the mic either, which is hard because I tend to drone on. I talk a lot, and I'll just take the one quick breath, and then it's hard to pace myself sometimes. So yeah, I'm getting better at that. I don't know. I'm getting given all the notes for like how to podcast or what I do for the podcast. I just hopped on. I wasn't really I this is what I mean. It's hard to get them out consistently because I don't know what it is, but it seems like unless time passes, it's hard for me to uh make content, or it's hard to talk, and I don't know why. There's no reason. Like, in person, I'm pretty fine. Like, it's not the same. I can actually like talk and conversate in person, but when you're talking about this, for whatever reason, I think it's because there's no feedback, right? Like, when you have a human being or a person in front of you, when you talk to them, there's actual like feedback, and um I say something, or my thought, and they come back with a thought, and it's they either agree or disagree, or there's just some sort of verbal, or like, you know non-verbal feedback where they nod their head, something, right? Where this just feels like I'm talking to um like an audience, obviously, but there's no feedback, so it's a little bit more difficult. um let's see here. Let's All right. So, I mean, I can talk about my last podcast, the politics one, right? Um, one of my homies, he gave me some feedback on it, and I appreciate that. And so, yeah, I thought that one was a little different. It's kind of the start of something I wanna try to enter. I want to try to get into the more political sphere, I think. Um, and that's what if you listen to the last one, that's kind of what I addressed, what I started out with. That's where I was kind of giving you the maybe the future direction of the channel, and kind of why I decided to start kind of entering this sphere, this field, whatever you want to call it. And that's because I just got sick of seeing so many people on the left, and okay, I got sick of seeing people on the right, and then I got sick of the people on the left. I don't particularly like a lot of what they upload, kind of their content, kind of um that whole area, that whole, because a lot of it's just not like, a lot of it's very divisive. I think a lot of it's very um I don't know how to explain it. Like a lot of it is not in good faith, right? A lot of it's in bad faith. I generally think they're not there to have like a dialogue or really change anyone's mind, or they're not there to like, I don't know. A lot of it seems, if it's not that way, then it seems very performative. And I kind of talk about all that in the last one. So if you want kind of that whole spiel, I don't want to reiterate a bunch of stuff that I already said. But if you want to know what I thought, um, yeah, you can check out the last one. That one I kind of got delved into. Um, I want to start kind of going into the. God, it sounds so corny, right? And this is the stuff that I hate. So I'm trying not to do stuff that I don't want to hear. Right? I don't want to hear people be like, you know, it sounds corny to say like trying to enter the left sphere, but um, yeah, I definitely want to start doing that just because yeah, I couldn't find anything I really wanted to watch. So but now I'm trying to do it and it's a little bit harder. So forgive me if this one's not the greatest. Again, if it's not, I'll put it out and it is what it is and we'll just keep it pushing. In a way, this is like my own like motivation type thing. Especially this first, I don't know, getting into it, I'd say. I know I've already done it's I think the oldest video on my shit's like 2 years, maybe a year or so. Like I know I've it's not my first stuff. I've been doing it for a little bit now, but like it's really the entry into this. I'm still fairly young, so this is kind of my um this is a lot of ebbs and flows, a lot of, you know, I learn a lot from I think each episode, and I need more feedback. I need more help, I think, figuring it out. And like I don't know. We'll see. I have something in mind maybe, but that would have to be for a different episode, not this one. Um but I'm trying to think about recent news events. Well, I mean, obviously there's the big one, right? The cutting of SNAP benefits. Okay, I'm trying to think of like a decent way to approach this. The SNAP benefits cutting, I think, is really, really, really negative. It's gonna negatively impact the country, and not just the country, but obviously the lower middle class and the poorest people, right? Because not only is like people think of everything in a vacuum. I think especially stuff like Snap, right? You just think of like the direct um use of Snap. You don't actually think about how much it affects the community, how giving people Snap also enables them to be in the store. So they here's the thing, people think that Snap is the only thing that they buy with. This is not the truth. Oftentimes these people are combining Snap with actual money to buy their groceries. This rhetoric that the people leech off of Snap and government benefits, it's just not true in the way that it's presented. I definitely think there is, as like there are people that leech, but it's in a very, it's not so much that they don't do anything. It's more so that they they do enough to not go over the line, because they know if they were going to go over the poverty line, and this is my 2 cents, but they do enough to where they don't go over the threshold to get it, because if they go over, then they have, it's much harder to make your way up from that. I mean, it's doing that on your own is a lot hard. Like it'll often knock you back down further than where you were. So like how I would describe it is, you'd start, like let's say you're at a job and you know, I see, you know, I'm not as educated as I should be. So I don't even know how much I should really speak on it. But I think a lot of people that get, I think it's less so leeching and more so getting stuck. I think it's more so that it's hard to, there's this threshold of like right after you make it above the poverty line and don't get EBT or SNAP or any sort of government benefits, but you're also not making enough money to get to better your situation, to get out of the housing that you're in, or to um improve your living conditions, or you know what I mean, you're still basically in the same area you were when you were getting the benefits, but now you don't have them, right? And so I think a lot of people get stuck in the sense that they continue to um use them even when they might be able to do a little bit better, just because if they are able to do a little bit better, it's not going to compensate the same as Snap would. And so I think a big incentive would be obviously wages, and trying to make sure that people are paid more, that better insurance. I think insurance is a big one too, and just having your basic needs um met. And well, it's more than that. It's the ability for you to move up in the world. It's the ability in the society that we live in now to be able to um excel from where you are now. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you have your if you're able to have some sort of money, and just, and not just that, but time as well. Like, a lot of it's time too. If you're able to have the time and money, and you're able to invest just a little bit of that more and more, right? Like um schooling, stuff like that. um if that's taken care of, or you know what I mean, you don't have to stress about it, then or then it become life becomes easier in a sense. Well, not in a sense, it does become easier. It's a lot easier to function, and it's easier to get up in society. It's easier for you to progress and make progress, right? Because that's what we're all trying to do in life, right? Is progress. And um generally in life you want to get better jobs, and move into better houses, and you know what I mean, like the goal kind of is to move forward. I mean, that's just how it is. That's just, even regardless of societal norms and stuff like that, like just in general, like biologically, like we just age, you know what I mean, we get bigger, we get older, we grow, we right. So I think that's the same goal, is like we try to advance our situation as much as possible, especially in a society where money means as much as it does. um I think that's everyone's goal, right? If you're born in um a housing tenement, if you're born in um if you're born into to poverty, right? Your goal is to get out of poverty, or that's at least, I'd say, generally most people I've met in poverty, that's their goal, right? Like, that's the you want to you want to die better than you were born, right? I think that's just a general goal that we have. And I think it's a lot easier to make this progression in life when you have um your needs met, right? When you're able to have more time, have more money, um right? But when you get stuck in these cycles where there's this area where you make it above poverty, so you're not getting benefits, you're not getting help. So now you're spending a lot more of your money on basic needs: food, groceries, um, car insurance, health insurance. Um, I'm trying to think of what all the other. I mean, just any sort of um, like, so it's, I would say, subscription based service, right? Like, that's basically what these are, right? Like, you're locked into these contracts of, like, like a lease. Like, you're it's a subscription for so long, and then you don't really own it, but um, it's like the insurance, right? It can go away at any time. As soon as you stop paying it, it's not they're not helping you out. And yeah, and you have to be insured when you're on the road, right? It's so yeah. So you're paying for all that, right? And then you get to this point where you make your money, but you don't make enough to actually progress, right? You can't invest into things, right? Because that's the big part of making money is you're able to invest or at least make a savings or some sort of, right? It's a lot more strenuous to save. It takes much, 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 much longer. It takes a lot more, like a lot more hours worked. And again, that takes away your time, which your time is also valuable because you can invest that into side hustles, hobbies. Um, just also, you have to have a work life balance, right? You can't, just as a human being, right? I hope everyone listens to this knows that, like, as a human being, you want to enjoy life too. You don't just want to work, right? Because in theory, like, yeah, we could just all live at our jobs, right? Like, we could just, live there 24/7 and work all the time and, eat there, sleep there. Like, we could, and make a bunch of money, right? You would arguably make quite a bit of money if you worked at your job all the time and were on call all the time and were on shift all the time, right? But that's not real life. That's not reality. We don't want to live lives we are where we don't have any free time. Like, I do think that there is pride in work, and there's deeper conversations to be had, and hopefully I'll be able to get into it more and more the further I get into um this. But yeah, there's a good work life balance, and we want to be able to enjoy life. We don't want to just um work all the time. And even though there's value to be had in work and pride to be taken in um, work, it's also not meant to be an all the time thing. You're not meant to overwork your body because that's how you die. Like, everybody knows that if you continuously work somebody to past exhaustion, then they die. I mean, that's just how it works. The human body just can't take it. It can only take so much. The human mind can only take so much um, toil. I mean, you see it all the time throughout history that people who are forced to work at these insane rates and all the time often, like, go insane. I mean, they just it's not what we're meant to do. We're not meant to be. It's. I think there's a good bit about balance, and I think I've talked about it in other episodes before. But balance is key to life. I mean, balance about everything. You can't go too far into it, but you also can't go too far out of it, right? Like, you can't work too much, but you can't not work at all, right? There's got to be a healthy middle ground, and I think there definitely is, and a lot of people get there or get close to it, right? And yeah, but anyway, so there should be this healthy balance. You lose out on that, and you're in this spot where you you are working two jobs often, right? Like, when you're at this level where you don't get SNAP benefits, but you don't make enough to, you know what I mean? When most of your money goes to bills, you're often working two jobs. You have no free time. And you can do this for years. I mean, you see people do this for years and never um are never able to have a home. They're never able to take out a mortgage. They're never able to get their credit score. They're all none of that's ever good enough to get a loan. People have to use several credit cards and different means of surviving till the next paycheck. And at the same time too, yeah, people make dumb decisions. I mean, who in the world, I mean, whoever's had money at some point in their life hasn't made a dumb decision with it? I can't name. I mean, everybody at some point, like, it's how we are. We consume. We want cool stuff too. We want unique things. I mean, so it's you also, like, I'm not going to say that poor people shouldn't be able to buy stuff on the side, right? I don't think that people shouldn't, not even poor, just people in general. I don't think people in general should not just be able to buy, like, your whole check shouldn't have to go to bills. The whole argument that, yeah, you can make it out, you can live a lifestyle like that, I think is actually not a good argument at all, because you don't that's not an expected for that's not you wouldn't live like that, right? Nobody wants to live like that. And just because they don't have the means, that doesn't mean they shouldn't be able. I'm not saying you should go out and buy like a $10,000, a new car if you don't have any money, right? If you're getting paid $13 an hour and you're not even working a full 40-hour week, then you probably shouldn't be making big purchases, right? But I'm not going to sit here and say that people shouldn't have um joys. People shouldn't be able to buy a video game, right? Like you shouldn't be able to buy a console or something cool for yourself, right? Like you should um be able to buy these things, I think, at any level. And I think that to argue that just because somebody is poor, um that they should get their priorities straight, and they don't need this, and they don't need to have these what are they called, these privileges, right? You shouldn't be able to have these privileges. I think that's absurd. I think everyone should be able to have the right to have small joys. And um if that's toys, if that's I don't know, like anything, right? Like small purchases. Like just think in general, like what you see at Target, what you see at Walmart, what you see at Burlington or TJ Maxx or Marshalls, um, like all that stuff. That's like made for the middle class and poorer people, and that's okay. Like people should be able to consume that. That's not. I don't understand why we pretend that just because, oh, you made it just above benefits, right? Like now you're on your own, yep, they should be able to pull themselves up by their bootstraps. They should be able to continue to make their way up the ladder. When in reality, all their money goes to bills. They do make irresponsible purchases. Everyone does. They are allowed to have they are allowed to have fun and be able to go out to the bar or go bowling, right? They are allowed to spend money on fun things as well. And we do fuck up with money. I mean, that's just how it is. Sometimes you make an irresponsible purchase. I mean, tell me who hasn't. Even when you don't have the money, some people do. I mean, I know that I have. I know that there's been situations where I don't really necessarily have the money, and I buy something, and I'm like, well, the fuck, now I got to figure it out. And thankfully I've ended up being able to get help, and um in certain situations be able to figure it out and make the money. But I know that I know plenty of people who've made irresponsible purchases, right? So um yeah, all these things factor into. Most of these people, they want to stay on a lot. I'd say, I don't know how to, I wouldn't say most, but I'd say there are a portion of people who have benefits that probably could do um better, to the point where they would be above the line where they don't need the benefits. But I don't think that they would be able to have a good life at that rate. I don't think that they would have a shot at necessarily making it further than that. I think you get stuck in limbo kind of because all your money goes to that. It's hard to make any sort of other money or investment, like school. You don't really think about it, but school's an investment. Being able to get a degree, being able to have that. I mean, that's a huge step up, right? If you're able to get a degree, if you're able to get a 4 year, if you're able to have any sort of schooling, then that automatically gets you into a new job market. Um, it just naturally, you know what I mean? That's just how it is. You just go into an upper. It gets you access to a better market. You move forward, right? These are investments. If like this, the podcast is technically an investment, right? Like with my free time, I could do other stuff, right? I could do archery or painting or sculpting, right? But this is what I choose to do, and this is sort of an investment, right? Like these are things you invest your time in, and they can have a payoff. One big example is like online artists or artists in general, right? But I'm saying online because I see a lot of their art online, and one of speak of the devil, he just messaged me. Um, One of my buddies, Rakatsu, at Rakatsu on Instagram. He's pretty dope. He's an he's an artist. I gotta stop saying. I feel like online artist is kind of derogatory, but it's not. But he's an online artist, and he invests his time into doing art, right? He invests his time into um the craft, right? He does the sketches and the painting and the right, like go check out some of his art and you'll see for yourself what I'm talking about, right? And he invests his time into that, and that's an investment, right? Like that is something that he really likes, and is kind of can be a side hustle or a main hustle if I mean, you take it far enough. That's what I mean by these are different investment. And if you don't have the time, if you're working all the time and you don't have the time, and the little bit of time you do have, you want to relax, because who, especially when you have these long jobs where you're working long hours and long shifts and overnights and stuff, who doesn't want to rest, who doesn't want to take a nap, who doesn't want to just sit on the couch and chill, who doesn't want to just watch TV or play Xbox, or you know what I mean, whatever your vice is. That's what most people that's what most people tend to want to do when they have time off, just because you're so overworked, especially at that rate. Again, if you're working two jobs, who wants to then come home and then work on a side project? And I'm not saying it's not possible. People have done it, right? I'm not saying that, and good on them, right? Happy for them. But saying that everyone should pull themselves up by their bootstraps like you is just not, it's not realistic. And it's that's a very like one-off example, or those are very like, I suggest you look at other variables when it comes to that, because it's just not, I don't foresee it, right? Like I feel like everyone has help who's made it like that. And I guess there are people that grind and get it out the mud and really shine, but those are the exceptions, not the rule. And I don't know why we would want to make society worse for um the general public, right? Like if we're admitting that the masses can't, that they can't do it, that they're not like you, if we, which I think that's being honest, right? Most people, like these self-made people, love to brag about it, right? Oh, I got it out the mud, right? I grinded from nothing. I was putting in 148 hours a week, man. Like, obviously I'm exaggerating, but you get exactly the type of self-made, like millionaire type, like, oh, I was, you see it in the rap game a lot, you see it in a lot of different industries, that like, oh, I was a nobody, I lived in a shithole, and I spent all my time in the studio, or I spent all my time writing raps, and I spent all my time promoting, and I spent all my, and like, yeah, good on you. I don't knock it, right? I think that the work ethic and what you've done to gain your success, right? Good on you. But you can't attribute that all to you, and you can't act like at certain levels people didn't give you help. I mean, it doesn't have to be financial help. You can't tell me that people didn't give you advice. You can't tell me that nobody was there to um listen to, you know what I mean? You can't tell me that there was just, every scenario is different. So you can't, I think that's a wicked comparison, and I think that that's not everybody's work ethic, and that's okay. Not everybody should have to fucking do that. Not everybody. It's not like a super cool, awesome thing that you have to absolutely spend every minute that you're not working, um, spending years of your life doing your craft. Like, I know it sounds, and that sounds ass backwards saying it out loud, but like spending years of your life, like not hanging out with friends, not making relationships, not getting any value out of life, just so you can, um just so you can potentially have a career, right? Because that's the other part of it too, right? It's like, this game, this capitalism it's a gamble, right? Like that's just how it is, right? You can devote your life, and you could, spend hundreds of hours, you could spend all the time in the world trying to be a filmmaker, or a music maker, or an artist, or all kinds of things, and it just doesn't happen for some people. It's just how it is. I mean, it's you think that all these people that are successful, like the ones that are like, oh, I made it out, I made it out, I was poor, right? Well, that's the exception, buddy. You think that there's other kids that didn't have the same work ethic as you, that weren't trying their best to make it out of their situation, right? But I think there definitely is. I think there's lots of kids that are like these that grow up in poverty that also bust their ass, right? I don't think you can tell me that all the other kids are just lazy. I don't think you can tell me everybody else in the project just didn't have the drive, just didn't have um the heart to do it, right? They just didn't work like me. Like I don't believe that actually. I think there's thousands of kids that thousands of people. I say kids because I'm thinking of, you come from the mud, like a lot of people talk about, from that age. um but you don't. mm, you My bad, I kind of lost my train of thought again. You guys probably could tell I gotta take a drink of water too. All right. So um yeah, when you get it out the mud, right, quote unquote, right, it's right. Well, I guess not quote unquote. A lot of these people really do work hard. A lot of these people did, put in the time and effort. But you can't tell me that there's other kids that don't do the same. There's other people that don't do the same hard work. They don't try. They don't put hours of their life into these things, and still um, don't win the gamble. Right? You can't tell me that that doesn't happen. So I think that acting like or trying to say that people should just be able to do that, I don't think that's realistic, and I think you should try to make it better um, for the masses, right? And if that means that my taxes go to um, food stamps, or that person who is in that area where yes they do live in an apartment, yes they do have a car, yes they have a cell phone, yes they have an Xbox, um, yes they have these things, um, but they still they're on food stamps. Like I'm okay with that. I'm not opposed to that. I would rather, that's a whole nother can of worms, and I'm not going to open it on this episode just because that's way bigger topic. But yeah, I just think that the cutting of snap, right, is that's absurd. And the rhetoric I hear from a lot of the right is um very negative, saying they got what they deserved. A lot of it's racially targeted, right? A lot of it's um, saying, well, like, well, the black people are off welfare. They'll need to. And this is not me, YouTube. I'm not saying that. I'm quoting people on Twitter and Instagram and these different places. Right? I don't want to get flagged or my shit taken down for something that I don't believe. This is not my rhetoric, but that's what they say, right? Is that, oh well, now they're gonna have to get a job, ha 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 ha, no more welfare, like, and anybody who's online at all, who's in these kind of um who's seen right wing behavior, knows exactly what I'm talking about. And that was another stunt I saw. um this kind of relates to it, right? And this is I thought it was this is weird, right? This is a weird thing I saw, right? And this actually gives me a perfect opportunity to talk about it. So the other day, right, the EBT thing happens, right? They're taking away SNAP, and um, it's around Halloween, right? It was on Halloween, or around Halloween, or right after, right? It was so I've seen a bunch. Well, not a bunch. I guess a bunch, considering, right? There shouldn't be anybody on your platform who feels this is okay. But I've seen several people on Twitter um, doing blackface, and in particular, it was well, oh there was there was two girls at least I remember. I think there was a third one. I think there was a third one. I can't quite remember. But I know there was two for sure. And the one was like really like a caricature, you know what I'm saying? Like had the gloves on and like a tuxedo, like the real um the real racist black caricatures that were in like the 20s, 1930s, 1940s. Like you know what I'm talking about, like the butler, right? The black butler, the racist looking black butler where it's got like big red lips, the big eyes. Like that's what she did, right? She painted her face like that, with like black and then big giant red around her lips, and then put on like gloves and like a tuxedo type, and like had a thing of fried chicken in front of her, right? And like I think that's so unhinged and so absurd, and I don't. It made me mad, right? And like I don't like to. I don't. It's the internet, right? I don't like to admit that I got triggered, right? You can't be telling people that, but I did. I did. I thought like I was really genuinely like, wow, like what have we come to? Like why is this accepted? Why is this cool, right? And I think it had a million views and I don't know 20,000 likes or something like that. And I was just like, what kind of shit is this? Like, one, why are we platforming this? How is this able to be platformed? Two, why is there so much support? There's all kinds of likes on this. There's all kinds of comments on this. There's all kinds of laughing emojis on this. There's all kinds of support for this, right? I it's disturbing. It's disturbing. Like it was a racist caricature, right? And I low key I miss woke. I miss woke, like right? Like everybody hated woke, and there's sometimes where they be going too far, and we'll get into that when we need to get into that. But I miss woke. I miss when it was unacceptable to do blackface. I miss when um saying racial slurs out loud wasn't cool. I miss when Nazi salutes weren't cool. I miss when being a a groiper, all that. Like I missed when a groiper wasn't a thing. I miss when that wasn't even a word, right? Like I miss these days because genuinely, you can't look at me, and if you can, you're don't talk to me. Get off my channel. Don't. I don't want you as a fan. I don't want you as a friend. If you're somebody I know, get out of here. If you can look me in the eye and tell me it's okay to do blackface on top of um snap being cut, because okay, that was where I was gonna play into it, right? There's another girl I saw. This was a different one, and um, she, I don't know if I can. I don't think I can't. I don't think I can play it. I don't know if I can play it. I'm not gonna. But there was this girl on Twitter, and I'm not gonna give her clout because she's actually absurd. She actually smokes crack. Like that's not a joke. That's no funny shit. She actually smokes crack, and there's videos of her on Twitter like smoking crack, and she's done worse than that. I mean, she's a PDF, right? Like I don't know if I can say it on YouTube. So, um, she's a file though, right? Like she yeah, she's admitted to that this lady is insane, not in prison, not in trouble, still on Twitter. And this time, the stunt she wanted to do is again blackface, painted her face like and it's not like it's not even like what I mean. It's genuinely bad. It's not even like there's no good racism, right? But it's like they just painted their face with like shoe polish, like actual like absurd racism, right? Like they painted their face with like actual like black, like not skin tone black, but like actual like pencil like Sharpie black, right? And anyway, this one in particular did that, and her whole spiel was I'm not gonna I'm gonna quote it, but it's censored, right? She said where I don't know if I want to say it. I don't want to get clipped out of context. So I'm not going to say it, but you can go find the clip. And she basically talks about EBT, right? She just impersonates being a black person and says, "Where's my EBT?" Basically, um, and what's happening? Like, where the F is my? I don't want to quote it so bad. Don't take this out of context. But yeah, she said, "Where the f is my EBT N word?" Well, y'all hate black people, man. Y'all respect black women or else. This is her direct quote. This is not, again, YouTube, my audience. This is not me saying it. This is exactly what she's saying while she's wearing blackface. This is on Twitter. You can still find this. The video's up. The account's still up. She again. This is kind of my point. Is this was absurd, right? That one, they're doing blackface, right? That should just be unacceptable as is. That's not in my society. In like like I don't care. No, actually, no, I don't think that's okay. Actually, I don't think it's okay to do hate speech. Actually, I don't think bullying minorities or bullying anybody like in such a way like that is platformable. No, I don't agree with that. And to a certain extent, like I don't agree with free speech. I don't think you should just be able to spout nonsense and try to hurt people, especially to the point where you're trying to get them to kill themselves, right? When you're trying to do something like that, I think that and that's the point, right? That's where it gets um that's where you get a lot of the pushback, right? That's where a lot of people are like, well, you can't determine that it's the internet, turn the computer off. It's like, yeah, but it's 2025. Everyone's online. It's almost impossible to not be. And if you think that um, bullying somebody to the point, even if it's online, if you think harassing somebody and trying to say so much mean things to somebody that they choose to end their life, actually, I don't think that's platformable. Actually, if you're saying that you should that all people of a certain race or all people of a certain creed or all people of a certain anything should be um ashamed, or that they should be, no, I don't think that's, and I think yeah, I don't think I'm wrong for saying that. I don't think that's an out of pocket take. I don't think that's super far fetched. um and who knows, I'm young, right? I'm sure I'll get those comments eventually that you're young, you don't know what you're talking about. And like, I'm sure there is a certain aspect of that to where I am young and my opinions might change on things and they might loosen. But I just don't think that the climate we have now, I don't think blackface is cool. I think those women doing that, and I can't, and I'm sure that there was men that also did it, but I didn't see any really on Twitter. I saw three women, yeah, three women in particular that all did blackface. One did a whole live stream. One literally sat there on live for I think hours, doing like a Halloween live stream, in blackface, like, and just constantly degrading black women, constantly making jokes about their hair and if they want, just saying absurd stuff, right? Like, oh, like Shaniqua, if you wanted to blah 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 blah, like, you know what I mean? Just overtly like racist shit and dog whistles as well, like stuff that was less overtly racist and more so like for the more deeper tapped in right wing white nationalists, right? There was that sort of messaging coded in as well. And I think this is a huge problem. I think it's a huge problem that we got so against the woke, and they did it to themselves in a lot of right. I'm not gonna sit here and say that they didn't. There's a lot of things that they chose to do um, that I just think were ineffective. I don't think that, I think that they did the opposite of help the movement. I think they made the movement a lot worse. And like I just, yeah, I but I think that we're at a point now where it's the opposite, right? I don't think you should be able to get on Twitter and say the N word with the hard R, and you can act like you can't, but like you really can. Like, I see people say absurd stuff all the time on Twitter. I see people get hundreds of thousands of views, millions of views, and thousands of likes, and they're saying absurd shit, right? Like, they're saying, like, the thing, like the blackface posts, those are all still up. All three of those women still have those posts up. The one lady did a live stream. The one lady posted with the butler and fried chicken thing, and the other one did the EBT snap thing, like, on video. They're all their accounts still up, all there. And yeah, I think that's absurd. I don't think that's good for society. um I don't think it's. I don't. And that's the thing is right. We can play these civil arguments. We can play these like fun little these fun little games that like um well freedom of speech and all this stupid shit, right? Like we can play these games, but I think um people who are have people who are good people and generally want the best outcome for society don't want things like hate speech. They don't think things like racism are cool. Um, we and that's how they get away with it. It's all very dog whistly. Their whole campaign, the whole white nationalist, super far right extremist, their whole campaign is based on this dog whistly, very subversive um type of rhetoric, this stuff that they can say, well, no, it's not, no, I don't want segregation necessarily. No, I don't want um I don't believe in eugenics. No, 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 no. I just believe in looks maxing, right? Like these are very and people, someone might get on my ass for that, but that is a community. If you didn't know that whole looks maxing and a lot of those gym rat type dudes, they're white supremacists. So yeah, just in case you didn't know that, even that's what I mean though. They're very good. They've co-opted a lot of the good shit, right? A lot of the cool shit. Gym, guns, um, uh, I'm trying to think of other areas that they've taken over. I mean, a lot of the podcasting, a lot of the media in general. That's why you have figures like Charlie Kirk who are so big. You don't really have that on the left. The biggest I can think is Hassan Piker, and again, like you kind of have to be online to do that or know who that is. I knew people uh, in real life who knew who Charlie Kirk was, but weren't on the internet, right? On like that, right? And so, yeah, I think I don't know. I think the rhetoric um, just continues to worsen and go down this low. I go low, you go lower type, and I think it's mainly coming from one side. I'm not gonna, I'm going to stand on it. I'm going to stand on my beliefs. I'm going to stand on what I say. Yeah, I think it's mainly coming from one side. I think there's one side that's generally promoting um, this hateful, negative rhetoric, and that it's okay to do blackface, and that it's okay to hate gay people and trans people, and it's okay to um, be racist. It's okay to be negative. And I'm not saying these things. Again, I want a disclaimer for YouTube because I don't want to strike or any stupid bullshit. I want to make this very clear. I'm not saying this, but this is their rhetoric. This is what this side of the political spectrum, and I'm not going to say which one, right? I'm going to be fun, right? I'm going to let you figure it out. Woohoo, right? I'm going to ride the fence, right? But you can obviously tell which side I'm talking about. Um, that pushes this agenda. That there's one side that's the main culprit for this, and they've continued to make it worse and worse and worse. And that's one thing I saw with Snap getting cut is on the left and on the more leftist areas, like the actual leftists, not these like not libs and neo libs, like no, like actual left leaning people. They were compassionate. They were sad. They were like, Snap getting taken away is horrible. That's going to affect a lot of people. People know, like a lot of people are talking about, like I have relatives. I know people. Um, and I know people. It's affecting my community. It's affecting, um, people who live around me. Like that. I'm seeing it firsthand. So I saw that reaction from the left that they felt bad, they were upset, they said, this is, how can you do this is absurd, these are people, these are people's kids, these are babies, these are children, these are workers, these are normal everyday Americans that are being starved um, for no reason other than to um, appease for no other reason than to um, honestly, I don't know. Thinking about it, I can't really. I don't know why you would cut Snap, right? When you think about it, like, why would you do that? Oh, what are they saying? Is like it's fraudulent, or it's like too much spending, or something like that. Right, that's what it is we got to cut it because people are abusing it, and it's millions of dollars or whatever going to waste, and people are buying cookies, right? That's this is the online rhetoric. This is shit that I hate. People are upset that poor people buy cookies. Dude, are you a fucking monster? You don't think people deserve cookies? I don't give a fuck if it's government subsidized cookies. I'll pay for the cookies. I don't care about the cookies. I don't think it's necessary, or um I think it's yeah. Again, I maybe I'm too woke, maybe I'm too far left, but I don't think people eating cookies is a huge issue. I don't think that's something that um, I care about my tax dollars going to. I do care about my tax dollars going to Air Force One, right? I do care about that. I pay for the president's hotels. I pay for a lot of his admins. Stuff. It just in general, I pay for a lot of what they do, their vacations, when he goes to the golf course, right? You want to talk about Snap? You're not okay with somebody buying a $2.29 worth box of cookies from with their EBT, right, from the store, but you're okay with spending millions of dollars on our president's golfing trips. You're okay with spending millions of dollars on him and his administration going out to dinner, having hotels. You're okay with paying for all that, right? You see what I'm saying? That's what I don't understand. I don't, and that's where I think I want to help change people's minds, and put people onto to more of um a path of empathy, right? A path of sympathy, of being able to understand these people, and being able to see that, oh, it's not the people eating the $3 box of cookies. It's the people who it's our money going to um these other things. It's our money being paying for public officials, right? I don't understand why um our public a lot of our public officials and their events, and when they go places and when they do things, it's paid for by the taxpayer, right? I'm not okay with that. I think more people should wake up and understand that that's not okay than the people who then trying to stand up to people who want to eat cookies, who like I don't yeah. That was kind of my bit on that, though, especially because I see it from the more online perspective, right? I have the privilege of being able to just sit there on Twitter sometimes for an hour. So when I sit there and browse and look at memes and stuff, uh I see a lot of people, like a lot of quote tweets of people on the left quoting people on the right who are just like being heinous towards poor people and people who have to use EBT, and saying, "Well, I'm not paying for this shit," but then you will pay for all this other stuff. Like I think it's, I just wish these people would open their mind, really, or change their point of view, because we're not your enemy. The poor people aren't your enemy. You're closer to being poor than you are to being a billionaire. I just want you to conceptualize what $1 billion is. Like, really write down like a billion with zeros, right? Like write all the zeros behind it, and really look at that number, and then write down 100. Write down 100 million, and then write down 10 million, and then write down right like, and then I want you to look at all those zeros, and I want you to see which one you're closest to, right? Where's your tax bracket, right? Is yours closest to 100,000, or is yours closest to 10,000, or is yours closest to zero or $100, right? I just these are things that I think people need to kind of conceptualize in order to um, start to realize how rich these people truly are, and how you are closer to being like that homeless guy that you laugh at than you are to being Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos or anybody who's, um, you know, a mega billionaire or millionaire, even like a super, wealthy person. Anybody who has touched $1 billion, right? Let alone multiple billion. So, um, yeah, that was this episode. I just looked at the time. I think this is kind of a good time to end it. Um, I think there's some stuff I'll have to cut out. There's definitely some pauses. I got to do a better job at editing. I'm so lazy with it, and I don't edit for shit. You guys can probably tell that. You guys can probably um, hear some of the mistakes and stuff. So um, yeah, I'm gonna have to do a better job at editing on this one. Hopefully, I mean, we'll see when the episode comes out. But yeah, this one was a little different. This one again is a little more political. I think I'm gonna kind of keep on this path, keep on this way, and just feel it out, feel the vibes, and kind of just decide from there what I want to do with this and just kind of how I want to do it. And I'm sure the format will get more smooth, and the news stories and the stuff I talk about will be more smooth. It'll be a little less choppy. But for today, I just kind of I wanted to get one out, and I needed to, and I was like, well, I'll try my best. So I hope y'all enjoyed this one. I ramble on, right. I'm like mom when she goes, you know, well, I'm gonna hang up now, or I go, well, I gotta go, mom. I got something to do. I'm at that whatever. And she's like, okay, 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 but. You know what I mean, and they go on and on and on. You go, okay, 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 mom. All right, bye. I love you. Bye. I love you. And they go, oh, bye. Okay, bye. I love you. But oh my gosh, like I ramble on. I ramble on a lot. That's my point. So anyways, I hope y'all enjoyed this episode. Um give me feedback. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all the regular cornball stuff. And I'll catch y'all in the next one. I'm out.
Bitch, what we doing here? I'm swimming in the money, I need scuba gear. What you do this year? I took a trip to Belize to get a souvenir. I'm whiter than some years. Everywhere I go, they're staring at my ass. Grown women still have my parents